Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in. My name is Bradley, also known as the Swim Coach, and today we're going to be talking about the FPL Fantasy Football Game Week 30, which players to look out for, players to avoid. Um, and then also we'll have a little look about planning for Game Week 31, where you've got four teams not playing because of the Carabao Cup. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this video. Let's talk about which players to look out for. Now, for me, Pedro, yes, at the moment, doing really well. Um, got Newcastle this week, so it could be a bit of a tricky one. But game week 31, people that may use their free play for those teams that are um, in the Carabao Cup could be a good option because then he comes out for game week 32 against City. So that could be an interesting one. But for me, as a personal thing, I'd love him to do well against City on game week 32. Um, that's something you could look out for. You could have him for get him for this game week or next game week as well. Senior, again, I do kind of rate this guy, but got Burnley, fine. Then got United, Arsenal, Newcastle coming up. So do you really want to waste a transfer on that? It's a hard one. Anderson from Nottingham Forest got some reasonable fixtures coming up, so he could be a good shout. Um, so you've got like Fulham, Spurs, Villa, and Burnley coming up. Sunderland away could be a bit of a tricky one. Bruno Fernandes, great option at the moment, doing some good points. But he did have a bit of a fight game against West Ham and Everton. Hopefully, you can carry that on for the Aston Villa game and the Bournemouth game. So that is that. Now, Simeo is a bit of an interesting one. Okay, it is against West Ham. Don't mind it. But game week 31, where that blank is, that is you're probably going to have. And then they've got a bit of a tricky two games, Chelsea and Arsenal back to back. So it could be a bit of an interesting one. Those fixtures, mind you, after the Carabao Cup final, okay, game week 31, we do have a bit of a break because it is also um, international break and the FA Cup game as well. So I think between game week 31 and 32, a lot of people got to avoid doing a lot of transfers because of people may get injured in their FA Cup games or on international duty. Um, so be be aware of that as well. Um, Still, Crystal Palace game has not been scheduled. I think they're just waiting on seeing how both teams do in Europe. Uh, Another person whose form should be doing better, but suddenly just dropped. That is Thiago. I do rate this player. Do I like his fixtures coming up? Yes. Do I like him coming up near the end of the season? No. When he got Manchester United, okay, West Ham, fine. Man City, Palace, and Liverpool last game of the season. So I don't like their last 4 or 5 games. Um, Kelleher done all right, but I wouldn't say he's a top player to have in at the moment. So that's a bit surprised me. Um, Hugo Ticket, again, really like it. Against Spurs, well, actually, both Liverpool and Spurs are doing quite bad at the moment. Um, so it will be interesting to see how Liverpool come back from their loss to Galatasaray, and also Spurs how they got battered at Atletico Madrid. So that could be an interesting one as well. Um, Timber, very good in the last few game weeks, but has that blank game week 31. So for me, I would probably avoid that situation, and I would probably wait until probably game week probably 35 to bring in the Arsenal players in. You got Fulham, West Ham, and Burnley coming up those game weeks. So I think there you could probably see some good influx of Arsenal players. Um, Virgil van Dijk, for me, he's a bit of a hit and miss. I know, like, okay, Man City didn't do anything, but Sunderland he got 17. Forest he got 11. West Ham, Wolves he only got 1. Um, so could that be a bit of a tricky one for him? I would say so. Uh, Cole Palmer is a good option, I would say, but again, like Pedro, their fixtures I don't like. Um, it will be interesting, but they do have City and United at home. That's the biggest thing of that. Okay. Um, Henderson, I kind of like, but then I don't like 'cause that blank game week. Um, Benjamin Sesko, actually, I do like. I do like for the Villa game. I do like for the Bournemouth game, and I definitely like it for the Leeds game. But I don't like it for the Chelsea game. So that's something there for you guys. Now let's go to a different team. Let's go to Dewsbury Hall. Now, I don't like Everton's fixtures for the next 4 games. But again, they've got tricky ties at the end. But I could also see them doing well against West Ham, against Palace, against Sunderland, against Spurs. So that could be options out there. Now, here's the other thing. I've just seen it. Erling Haaland down here at the bottom of the page. Okay. Look at that value. You could get a lot of people in for that. But if you go to the top transfers out for this game week, look who sits at 4th. Erling Haaland. Okay. So that's a bit of a shock there. But I think also a lot of people are trying to plan for that game week 31, which I'll give them credit for that. Now, look at that for -1. Wilson, okay, yeah, he's got this marker 75%, but I kind of do like him at that 5.5. Rice again, but for Rice is that game week 31. Thiago's up there. Hugo into so there's some few players that are on that transfers in, but also on the transfers out. So bit of mixed batch today for this game week, which is kind of weird. Even someone like Matt O'Reilly, whose form is like 9.0. But again, I think people are planning for that game week 31. Trying to get a few Man City players out. They can fixture their transfer players in. I totally agree. And that's something you guys out there have got to look out for. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, just think about what players to bring in because of you've got Arsenal, Man City, Crystal Palace, and Wolves all missing game week 31. Now, Wolves, okay, they've done they beat Liverpool last week. So just be a bit wary of that. Now, if we do have a look at the fixtures, okay, I'm not going to read them out, but I'll show you. Have a look at here. Well, okay, so this is this one now. But if we look for game week 31, okay, it's Friday night. You got to get him in early, okay? And you can kind of see where this peters out. that Spurs Forest game is going to be an interesting one. There's no 4:30 kickoff because that's the Carabao Cup final, um, which I will be missing, which is a shame. The Liverpool game could be a good one. Chelsea Everton, even Leeds Brentford could be a big game. But even this one, Newcastle Sunderland, that game week. So there's some big matches that game week, or big head-to-head games. So it's going to be tricky, but pay attention. So here are the fixtures for game week 30. Try and pick out which ones you think. For me, yeah, the Man City, West Ham, uh, Brentford, Wolves, maybe. But both those teams are hit and miss at the moment. Well, Wolves are doing really well. Brentford have had 2 draws. So think about those games. Think about what they're to do. Um, so that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one on deadline day. Goodbye from now.